this is an absolutely gorgeous home. It's another home that I would definitely describe as being very stately.
Oh, definitely, yes.
So, and this, well, first of all, if you are just now joining my channel and you don't already know, my buddy Roger,
I'm here.
Yes, Roger is back. He's my best bud, and he is part of the design firm that did a lot of the landscaping here. But let's kind of rewind just a little bit, because the facade of this house is just exceptional.
It is.
And
it really is beautiful.
Would you call this Georgian?
I guess it would be a Georgian architecture.
Yeah. Lots of symmetry up front.
Definitely symmetrical, and a great detail on this house that you just don't see anymore.
Yeah, yeah, and it's equally as cool on the inside, I might add.
Oh, it is.
It's
yes.
just wonderful. So, to give you guys kind of a little bit of frame of reference, this is about 3 blocks from my house in a neighborhood that is contiguous to mine. Mm-hmm. So it's very, very close to my neighborhood, but it's in a different neighborhood called Edgemere.
Yes.
And these homes are a little bit newer. So you said you thought maybe this was built in the 40s?
I would think judging from the other houses in here, I would think 40s, 50s.
Yeah, the other houses,
some in the 30s.
Stuart, if you wouldn't mind kind of just doing a little 360, the other houses tend to be much more 50s, 60s, ranch style homes.
Mid-century.
Yeah, and so this one really stands out because it is so grand and the architecture is a little bit different.
A lot of the other houses are only single story, and this one's
yeah,
two-story.
This one's double story, and it's got a really interesting backyard, which I can't wait to show you because it is absolutely spectacular.
Jump in and say we have not done anything to the front yard yet.
Okay.
We have new plans for it, but we concentrated on the backyard, and that's what we want you to see today.
Okay, so I'm going to rewind maybe 10 years when they first. Okay, so the homeowner. Homeowner grew up in this house.
Right.
And then I guess later, after, did he move in right after his mom moved out?
I don't know.
I can't remember the chronology of that. But nevertheless, he grew up in this house. And it's got that kind of, that house that was in the Parenthood. It's in that movie Parenthood.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
What's the movie with Steve Martin? I think it's called Parenthood. It's got that real 50s vibe, kind of beaver cleaver feel to it, at least in the front. Stuart, if you don't mind showing this magnificent tree. Now, I think, Roger, you know that I've got a tiny bit of history with this house because about 10 to 12 years ago, when they first move in, they just ask for some very, very superficial questions. We put a tree well around this magnificent tree, and I suggested limbing it up. And then I think we relocated a few things in front. But I can't wait to see.
Well, and even before that, John had done a consultation and a little bit of design work for the homeowner's mother when she was still living here.
So yeah, I love that there's a real continuity, it's a real family affair. But there's not a lot to see here because it is so symmetrical, and again, it just lends itself to symmetry, but it's got some really cool architectural features like these posts and these archways that frame the garage. So it's really just lovely, and it's got that family feel because there is a basketball goal right there. I love it. They have 3 kids, and it's just kind of like a slice of Americana. Okay, so now we're going to go to the back, and you're going to describe the back, and you're going to kind of take over and talk about what your muse was, because you guys are going to be so surprised how the back looks compared to the front.
And it is quite a contrast, but I think that we managed to achieve a nice continuity and a little bit of flow from the original architecture
into what you did.
Well,
I've got several questions for you in that regard. So at any rate, let's pop to the back.
Let's go.
Roger, this is absolutely magnificent. Last time I was here, there was nothing but a beaten up wood deck. And then it goes down into this really woodsy area and a very steep ravine.
Yes,
down in there.
the landscape here is really cool. I mean, it really, there's a lot to work with, and there's still quite a bit more to do, but I think we really knocked it out for them right now. So, you know, we obviously removed the big deck.
Right.
We brought in, created this brick, the brick porch and steps. It's brick and flagstone, and we've picked up some of the architectural details from the front, you know, the detail above the garage doors, and repeated it in this black iron railing. Let me ask you just, excuse me, but let me ask you just a little bit. I love the way this landing has ingress and egress to both doors. I mean, and so it's a common landing from two different vantage points, even though there's a subtle grade change. But that's really a cool idea. It was something that we had. You know, there's a lot of the architecture that was dictated by what was here, you know, on the house. But we were able to do quite a bit. One of the things I really am excited about, we did this, it's flush with the porch, but we did this pot ledge.
Okay, this is an idea, a great idea for you guys to steal out there. Even if it's not built in, you could easily replicate something like this with a piece of furniture. You could do it very inexpensively. But this is a great idea, and it does what you said. It integrates the gray formal look of the front and the rest of the house with the red brick, having this as a topper.
Yeah, so all of this is new, the new brick, and there's a couple of reasons for this. One is these pots are always going to be behind this this table, so we've almost elevated those up to the level of the table, so it gives a nice sense of enclosure here, and kind of breaks up the stark wall, and it's a pretty tall wall, so elevating those pots, even just, it's like, you know, 20 inches, really helps a lot.
Well, and it accentuates the kind of terracing effect without it being too steep. And you and I were talking, this would also make, if they entertain out here, you could just move a couple pots around, and you can use it as a sideboard or a buffet, or, you know.
And this allowed us to bring in, of course we could have done it, we brought in irrigation, we brought in electrical for lighting, we've got drainage, all built into this. And then when the hedges are up at the same height, it's going to be a nice little cozy area here for the dining table.
And repeating, I'm going to guess, are you maybe going to do some boxwood in front once you redo the front?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we've never met a boxwood. I just about walked into you. Okay, so Stuart, I want to give people a feel of this backyard. So can you kind of do a 360 sweep? So there's a magnificent magnolia tree that's been here.
Yes.
For a very, very long time, a southern magnolia. But then looking down, in fact, let's just walk over this way, because it's difficult, I think, to convey just what a steep grade this is. I guess I should stay on this beautiful path you created, because is this a retaining wall here?
There's a retaining wall here. And originally there was a low chain link fence across here that divided the yard, and of course the chain link fence was filled with vines, and so it really made the yard feel smaller. So the first thing we did was remove the chain link fence. We actually re-erected it down in the gully so that it gives us the security from animals and people wandering up from the stream.
Right.
But you don't see it from from up on the patio.
And before too long, I'm sure some of this ground cover will.
Yes, it'll be covered with vines again, which will be perfect down there, because it'll really truly disappear.
And what a fun place for the kids to explore. I mean, there's what's that hanging down there, and then it looks like there's some kind of
we've got a climbing wall. And we plan to do a little bit more down here. We did kind of open it up somewhat, just to open up the view. And at night, there's just a touch of light, landscape lighting in here that really adds depth to the woodlands here.
So was the woodland effect probably was something of a muse for the more natural feel you did with the stone and things?
Well, that and then this original old red sandstone wall.
That was going to be my next question. Was that
Right.
original? Because I
That's
didn't
original.
know. And these steps,
Yeah, and
were
these
those
steps down
were
here
original,
are original.
too?
Yes. So we were playing off of that. And
really-
you know the fireplace at our office.
Yes, yes.
We had the owners come over there for a meeting, and they walked in
just loved it.
and said, "We want this fireplace. Can we just pick it up and bring it over here?"
And by the way, Stuart, we need to put a link to the video above where we shot some things.
Okay.
In front of the fireplace, we shot several things at the design studio, the design business. So let's
go back up, because
Yeah,
this is
let's-
not the prettiest side of the grill.
No, but let's capture, Stuart, can we just selectively capture this wonderful vista from here and the walkway that goes up to the door where we started, and those steps, and the view in every direction it's just the right amount of privacy.
We're going to add just a hint more privacy, but keep some of the views open. It's kind of will be kind of a tricky little game to play.
Yeah, Stuart, can you kind of sweep over here, because that green space is beautiful.
And so we want to try, our goal when we work over here is to try to kind of hide the view of the wooden fence, but maintain the view of the neighbor's little grassy knoll and their woodlands beyond, to make it look like our client's property doesn't stop.
And it looks like some of these trees were damaged in that big
serious
ice,
serious damage in the ice storm.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then serious whacking from the power companies.
Yes, absolutely. But the nice thing is, there is still an area for the three little kids to play back here. There's still plenty of room for them to play and then explore down in there. So now let's come up here, and before we show the pièce de résistance of the back of the backyard, this is another great idea where you have intentionally laid the brickwork in such a way that it looks like there is a large rug underneath the dining table, and then almost like there's a scatter rug
Right, yeah.
here as you approach the stairs, and the same way at the top, and they've got the same pesky squirrels here that I've got at my house. I love the way that you integrated the brick with the flagstone.
Well, we knew that we wanted a long dining table here. It was designed for that, so we did the sort of brick rug under it, and just a way of marrying the red brick, the brick from the house, and adding a nice little touch to offset the flagstone.
So you are with Garden Designs, a company that does landscaping and things. So did you pick out the furnishings, or did the homeowners pick out the furnishings?
The homeowners have done the furnishings.
Okay,
yes.
but if somebody wanted that as a service, you guys would help them with that as well. Okay, so now let's come over here. This is just absolutely incredible. Look at this fireplace. Oh my gosh.
You can see we had fun with it.
You
definitely
did.
Had fun. So we wanted the look we're kind of going for here. We describe it as kind of a WPA state park kind of feel.
Yes, absolutely.
And none of the material. I mean, a lot of the flagstone was purchased new. The brick is all used brick. The stones, we managed to team up with some great masons. They supplied a lot of the stone from their own yard.
It's magnificent.
We've got
okay, I have
and
to.
isn't that fir?
The firs are coming. I have to point something out here,
What?
Roger. I see a Roger touch here.
Yes.
The rose rock.
Well, the rose rock, and this is a piece of rose rock.
Yes.
These are pieces that these are pieces that we got on the trip to my brother's yard.
Yeah, so Roger and I and Hubs and John and a group of friends, we sometimes go on these little Boy Scout, Girl Scout adventures.
Yes,
and we went excavating for rose rock, and the texture of them is just fabulous.
And there's a few scattered all around. And this is the kind of thing where this was an old architectural piece that we happen to have laying around the office. We went to an architectural salvage store here and bought the corbel up there.
Yes.
There's another corbel from like a 19th century sandstone corbel from London. And it's a great collaboration with the brick masons. You know, we would they'd bring these rocks and we say, oh, this rock goes here, and then they would work around it. They came up with the idea of doing these kind of curves.
I love it.
Bricks here.
And it is very WPA.
Yes.
And if you go to any of the older state parks in Oklahoma, you will see a lot of this red rock.
Most of this is native red sandstone.
Yes.
So,
and also the brick. A lot of the bricks have names.
Well, this is all a Coffeyville brick, and we like to keep just a few of the bricks with the face up. It's a little much if you do too many of that. But then we've got benches on either side. We kind of pulled it out.
And even little inset.
Yeah, we wanted
benches. That's
wanted
so
a place
cute
for the kids to be able to sit close to the fire. This little butt.
Yes,
my French, little butt brick rock had to sit there.
It's a little tush. It's a little tush.
But then that flows nicely over here to the grill.
Yeah, and I interrupted you earlier, but oh my gosh, is this not the perfect appointment?
Yes.
Right here?
It really is.
This is
on
another
a cold winter day.
Yeah, this would be another, take this idea at home, because you can get faux ones of these, a lot of different places, but it makes the whole experience this much more Yellowstone Parkish kind of.
Right.
Yeah. Really, really nice.
But this grill is great. And it's kind of, again, it's designed almost like you'd find in a state park or something.
Yes, look at the moss
with the
on
stone and this drop-in. It's a custom-made drop-in grill that can be raised and lowered. But the client is the grill master, so.
He is a grill master. You know what this would also be great for, and you probably already thought of this, but you could use this as a bar. Have a couple of bar stools out here.
It's a serving counter, and it's the kind of thing where you want to lean up here and talk to the grill master when he's grilling.
Absolutely. And get that residual kind of heat too off of it, because it's kind of a chilly day. Stuart, could you come around back here? And I just love the texture of it. The texture of the ingredients, but also then the texture of the entire facade is wonderful. And look down here, and it's a sensual experience because we've got thymes.
It's all
that's
herbs.
Lemon thyme.
Yeah, we've got thymes, rosemary. We've got chives, oregano,
some Muhlenbeckia,
sage.
Yeah, very fun. So you can grill, and you can just come over here, and you can get your rosemary for your chicken. And then we've got this great grill on this side. And you know what I love about this, Roger? This is so clearly used and loved.
Right, yes.
It's not one of those outdoor kitchens that's pristine, that never gets used. This, we know that the homeowners really use this space. And
they do. They just had a big event here about a week ago, and that was our deadline to make sure it was done before that. Event.
And it kind of, what I love about it, I feel like I'm on vacation, because usually when we go on vacation, we're going someplace that speaks to nature. So we're going to someplace that would have an ambiance very similar to this, and this is just. This is really incredible.
Did we talk about the original sandstone wall?
We talked a little bit about it, but can we come around on this side, because the kind of cool thing about it is that it does very much, it's magnificent, but it still relates to the scale of the house, because the house is pretty magnificent itself.
And it functions well so that the fireplace can be enjoyed from the inside, but the grill, the fireplace don't block the view across the lawn and into the woodlands.
So it sits in the landscape. It sits in the landscape well. And this is so cool. This is very gaudy of Barcelona.
Kind of, very Old English. Yes. Looks like an Old English wall on a country estate.
But with an Oklahoma twang.
Oh,
because it's got all of this great redstone. So tell me more about the...
Well, the client's mother had this constructed, and it's just, you know, so it's a nostalgic family part of the landscape, plus it's a cool part of the landscape. So that was kind of our jumping off point for doing the red sandstone and the color of the flagstone and everything else.
And as you're closer to the house, this is a very English thing, that as you're closer to the house, it's more formal and it's more kempt. And then when you get away from the house, it becomes, it speaks more to nature and the trees.
Well, even just going across the patio, you've got that formal brick and iron, and even the brick pattern under the dining tables is somewhat formal, and it just kind of devolves into a much more casual, much more organic feel as you go. And
then and even just like these little features of this little tiny gate there that
cool?
speaks to the gate, and the fence, the picket fence in the front. And they've obviously worked with nature here.
Right.
So that they could salvage this tree, which I'm sure they were hoping would obscure the power line.
Well, we couldn't take it out because it was doing such a good job. And then it actually, because it arches almost over the patio.
Yes, yes.
We've got some great landscape lighting that lights some of the areas real subtly at night.
And it's so tragic that so many of the trees were damaged in the storm, but there's a reason there's no trees on the prairie, and we just have to work with them. Are these Nellie Stevens?
Nellie Stevens hollies.
Is this a blue star?
That was here, so
looks like maybe a blue star
we
juniper.
worked with it. There were cherry laurels here, so what was left of them after the ice storm we tried to work with and incorporated the Canart junipers in here.
I love Canart junipers. I love these
The blueberries are awesome. And then we've added...
And I like I love the way this softens this area. And
we've got that curve established in the original wall that we wanted to repeat and work off of.
And it also is kind of a wall, an evergreen wall, because even though nothing back there is really unsightly, that's where he keeps his canoe and that kind of thing. So it nevertheless kind of camouflages the area that's a little bit more utilitarian. And then obviously you come full circle and you thought about the electrical and everything as you as you designed it. Well, I definitely could see myself sitting out here with a buffalo plaid throw in my lap and maybe a hot toddy or a hot chocolate or something like that, because it's just...
It's definitely, fireplace weather time.
Oh, it is.
So, and any project like this is such a team effort. Our team in the office, and working on designing and measuring and drafting and everything, and then the clients, ideally the clients are an integral part of the project, which these clients were. So
and they're real outdoorsy, and this looks very, very...
So that was very, working with them through the process was great. So they were open to changes, we were open to their changes too, along the way. Then you get into, the The masonry was a real collaborative project. We really tried to let the masons have fun with it, and I think you can see that they did.
They definitely did.
And so we were open to the masons' suggestions. We would make, but you know, at the same time, we'd show up one day and ask them to redo something they'd done that we didn't like. You know, so it was a give and take. Then you know, the plant material. We've got these cedar elms that will give us some nice shade. There was a restaurant patio in town that the client liked that was kind of an inspiration for that. We tried to bring in some fall color with the caddo maples.
Look at
the lighting.
Stuart,
you know,
look at the cupola up there.
The lighting at night is really magical, and there we have to rely on, you know, our lighting contractor who is the best
to
synergy, help us with that.
The synergy is absolutely just incredible, and I can't tell you how much joy it gave me to see this. our old friends.
Well, then there's more up on the top, and like I said, there's more scattered around.
Yeah. Well, it definitely speaks to the home and speaks to our Oklahoma heritage. Thank you, my friend.
Oh, thank you. It's so much fun to share it with you.
Well, if you've held on this long, here is my fashion epilogue. My sunglasses are Cole Haan. I believe I got these at Ross for Less years ago. My earrings are the Mille Fleur earrings from Janet Mavick and the Orchard Jewelry line. Everything is nature inspired. My shirt is Banana Republic via Goodwill. Here's my question, my fashion question for today. Do you think that leopard skin or animal prints are a neutral now? I've heard several people say that recently, and I'm curious what you think. So my sweater is from Shein. My breeches are old J. Crew skinny jeans, and my boots are, I believe these were from Target a long time ago. My jewelry, this is the same chain link bracelet that I often wear that was a gift, a Mother's Day gift from Hubs. And this really sweet, delicate little bracelet with the bumblebees on it. This belonged to my mom. So there you go. There's my fashion epilogue for today.